Hello friends and welcome. Today we're going to do a replay analysis for this Sven support here. I know a little weird off the bat, but I actually like it for Herald. Now we've actually done a replay for you before, and I think something we've talked about and that you've brought up is that people always say you play support to normal for Herald. And without even watching this, I'm going to agree, because if you play the way like you see me play in videos and I tell you guys to play in Herald, you're going to get differing results just because Herald has a lot of variability in terms of player skill. So actually, when you're supporting in Herald, we are going to do typical support stuff, but we're looking to be greedier. So I may not actually watch the whole replay, but we're going to start with the laning stage and go a little bit beyond that at least, and look for opportunities where you can be greedier instead of like, oh, I'm the selfless support, right? Because in Herald, you want a little bit more control over your destiny rather than like trust carries and cores who, results may vary. So let's take a look. Let's start with the landing stage. Playing Sven. Now, Sven is kind of a weird support, but what you have going for you is your high base damage and a pretty solid stun. So what you can look to do a lot in the lane, trading is a little awkward for you. I mean, you will try a little bit, but don't always hyperfixate on it. Something else you can do is just deny creeps with your really high base damage. Even when two people go for the last hit, like you can beat out a lot of offlaners because you have 65 base damage. So that can be something you do here. I notice we're drawing a bit of creep aggro, and that's going to shove out the lane. Some slightly inefficient trading there. You were going like, well, not really slightly. It's moderately inefficient trading against two people. By the way, you blocked this camp. I actually think for Herald, maybe we don't need to do that. Because one, I don't know if your opponents will use that pull, or they won't use it well. And if they do bad pulls, that's actually good for you, right? In Herald. So I actually think you can probably leave this open to yourself, betting on the fact that the enemy won't use it well, but also that you can use it. So if you know what you're doing, for example, if you constantly shove out lanes like this for whatever reason, this is a good camp to use to fix it in that first minute instead of having to come all the way over here and do this pull. Because right now, a lot of people are playing the lanes quite a lot. Any reason to leave too frequently is not great. So instead of blocking that by default, you could probably leave it open. And if you do want to block it, just body block it. If you really think it's awful for you, then go ahead and drop a sentry. This, by the way, just a small tip. Left or right of this small camp box, and you're good to go. It'll cover the whole box. Just has to be somewhere here or somewhere here. You don't have to put it in the middle. Top one, dire, in the bottom or top. Or switch that. So you can see this box is more of a rectangle this way, and this one looks more like a box, but it's a slight rectangle horizontally. So left and right for the radiant, top and bottom for the dire, real close to the box, and you'll cover the whole box. So then you can keep your sentry alive instead of having to do this. This is the right idea, unblocking your small camp, but it could save you 50 gold right there. And a little bit of time, so you don't have to stand there and attack 5 seconds. So far, they're having a little bit better of a lane than they should. A little AFK there. That's okay, it happens. By shoving out this lane, and then you had to like go deal with a small camp. We haven't gone to stay in lane as much, and remember what I talked about, getting a lot of denies? Haven't really done that at all either. So if you're playing someone weird like Sven, that's definitely something you want to keep in mind. Like 5 denies is as if you did a pull and completely denied off like 2 creeps, right? And you can do that right in front of people. And denying doesn't really mess up creep equilibrium. This should probably be a half pull based on the amount of creeps that you have alive. Let's see. Yeah, I can see the enemy creep wave building up, and I think you guys just have to like bring in their tower. So this is just going to shove out again immediately. So far what I've seen is not just like completely on you, but just for your lane in total. It's like poor lane control. So this lane could go a lot better. You have an Ursa versus an Axe, so all you need to do is like stun the Shadow Shaman when he tries to shackle Ursa, and then you can like play really aggressive. But when the lane keeps shoving out like this, and you're always leaving him alone trying to do pulls, that aggression opportunity is not really going to be there. So I'm going to start speeding through this because I think that's kind of defined your laning stage. I think you want a much more static lane. Just go for some denies in front of people's faces. Only do pulls when you really have to. And that way you can stay in lane a little longer, be a little stronger. And this Ursa wouldn't always be like 1v2 and losing all his health. That's why you like have no chance for aggression here, because the lane's rubber banding and he's taking too much harass. So let's speed past this. Yeah, save you 100 gold now. and like 10 seconds. Because if you have to stand and attack your own sentries, 6 auto attacks, that takes a while. All right, TPing home. Getting boots. Running back bottom. 6 minutes. I guess it's kind of okay. If you had walked home, I know you were low, so it's like a little scary, but like if you can walk home, that means you can TP out, so you can reverse it. Now, I don't think you're actually going to TP refill the bottle, because a lot of mid players at this rank don't know to do that. But it's a good habit to build. And even if you're not refilling the bottle, the power runes coming up is another big thing. So even without them doing anything, if I'm telling you, let's play in the lane a little more, let's be a stronger support, and then you pick up some big rune like a haste or a DD, we can do something with that, because we're not some like weak support who's like totally self-sacrificial and all that. So even if your mid's not coming for it and they're not doing the bottle refill, leaving the option for ourselves to like TP mid and steal runes, or just TP rotate in general to either lane, is really good, rather than just like TP down here. And I don't know, I don't see that much happening right now that we had to be here. I don't know, maybe now you guys are doing something. Okay, it's kind of working out, but you do want to hold this stun. Let's look at that attempt again. He is right next to you guys. So part of stunning is like giving you time to attack. And a lot of times it's because people keep their distance from melee heroes, right? This is what I'm talking about in Herald. Like, you get these kind of mistakes. So when this happens, I don't need to stun. Stun when he's running away, right? Or is there something else I need to stun for? And that is that I don't know where Shadow Shaman is right now, but I know he has a lot of disables that would prevent Ursa from attacking. So right now you should just wait. You should just use your roar, or your war cry, and just attack. And now you would still have your stun, right? Maybe Axe runs back because he's not stunned, but it's fine. You can chase because you've got the extra move speed, and you've got the slow from the Earth Shock, and he's got phase boot. So like the chase is fine. You've got boots. Like, you'll all keep up with Axe. He has 310 move speed. You're all naturally faster than him right now. And then just what we're expecting, or potentially expecting, is that Shadow Shaman shows up, boom, you stun him. Or maybe he crowd controls you, and then it's like, well, okay, I can't stun, but Ursa is still chasing for the kill, right? All good things. And then if Shadow Shaman's not here and you're getting close to the end, then we throw out the stun. Your stun is not that low cooldown right now, 18, 16 seconds, right? So you really only get to use it once here, so it doesn't really matter if you use it here versus here. So hopefully that paints out how, like, all the other scenarios, it's fine to hold the stun, and it'll generally work out well. I mean, you still got the kill anyways, you know, but maybe it goes a little smoother. Or maybe he runs away and you don't get the kill. Okay, now you're pretty low. I would probably just go home. Oh, you guys got it. That is pretty good if Axe gets out, or Ursa gets out. That was wild. I didn't think that would work. Okay, so this is where we have to decide Herald versus regular Dota. So regular Dota, I would tell you, it's 7 minutes. You know, you kind of got some kills down here. We might want to consider moving somewhere else, whether that's the mid lane or the off lane, and start pressuring this tower. Now bring it back to Herald. Laning stage is extended. People aren't so active right now. So I think it's okay if you come back down here and keep trying to play aggressive with this Ursa, but let's try to keep our teleport available so that we can rotate to some stuff if we see anything happen. Or if someone starts jungling way too long and you start noticing an empty lane, that's yours. Let's see what you do when you respawn. I'd say you could just walk bottom again if you want. As you TPing, I think you bought him a salve. That's awfully nice of you, but it's pretty inefficient. I don't know if it's worth it. It's my money. I might keep that. Try to put the sentry first when you're going to ward a cliff like that. That is a little weird. Okay. Ignoring the fact that you're clearly losing the trade right now. But this kind of trade is very strange just because you're full health, Necrophos is full health. Let's say you both trade somehow equally, right? Ignoring the fact that he's a mid hero with more levels and gold than you, so it's naturally going to go in his favor. Let's say you both go down to half health. You have no natural regen versus a hero who tons of natural regen, like some of the highest in the game at the start, right? So trading equally with him is not equal. You actually have to really win the trade very hard against the Necrophos for it to be equal, right? We're not going to do that because we're a level 4 Sven support versus the mid Necro. So this is like a very weird use of your resources when you should have probably just like taken this rune and then just like taken this XP and got whatever last hits you could. That would actually be a better use of your time rather than this. And if he had his ult, I don't know if you knew he had his ult or not, but like, damn, right? You almost died. And now you just have to go home or like stick around like this, which you could have done with full health. But now if anything breaks out, you'll probably just die to stray spells. Versus, let's avoid that fight, stay healthy, and now if an opportunity presents itself, we're ready to go. Whether that's like TP bot, TP top, jump necro, whatever. We can't do any of that because we have like less than 200 health. So this is just what you should have done to start with that full health and pull creep aggro to you and try to get the XP and last hits. So now you're like kind of coming bottom. Oh, okay, no, you do decide to walk back, right? So I could save you 30 seconds. If you don't take that trade, you'd save you about like 30, 40 seconds and you'd be in a better spot, literally a richer spot if you are, you know, spending that time in the mid lane while Quap was gone by stacking a camp, any of that. Okay, we TP top. This ward's a little overly defensive. Let's think about what you're trying to do up here with this observer, or what you want from here, right? So what I'm trying to do up here is take this tower. What does that mean for the lane equilibrium? Can I take that tower from back here? No. It means you're probably shoving the lane up here a lot, which means you're all standing back here, which means you already have vision of this area, or it's not like that important because like, what are the odds they wrap around you from like back here? Maybe, but right, like if they're defending this tower, they're more likely to come from the front where you're already like stationed. So this is like kind of too far back. That's why this is much more common when sieging this tower, because it's like, oh, if we're all up here, what are they likely to do? They're TP and run in, which this ward kind of sees a little bit, or they're going to bring heroes to rotate around and try to like surprise us. That's also good. Or they rotate heroes and go this way, which this doesn't really spot for you anyways. Until it's kind of too late till they're right here. And yeah, like this observer would spot that stuff better, but wouldn't see this stuff. So like that's a choice between these two observers, but like none of that is accomplished by this one. So this one doesn't really accomplish kind of what you're going for. This is like a generically good spot for the laning stage and for like a little bit post laning. Better for like the Dire, to be honest. The Dire safe lane, this ward is better. But for the off lane on the Radiant, this is like not necessary right now. So I feel like that's you knowing good warding spots, but not understanding when to use different ones. So hopefully that gives you some ideas on like things to think about. Okay, right now, like what are we doing? Let's go back. Okay, let's go back. Talking about like the greedy mindset, right? The Herald, whatever. So we came up here. We're gonna get stuff done. We're gonna try to take the towers. We're gonna try to like be greedy. So how do we accomplish that? One, shove this lane. We come up here and we auto attack and we help push this lane in while he's dead. That would be fine. If the core is here, don't take last hits in front of him, right? I know we're talking about greedy, but like we'll still try to be a good support. And when the opportunity presents itself, then we'll be greedy. If the core is up here, we're gonna hit these creeps to help kill them, but like leave the last hit for the offlaner. What else could we do? We could like farm this if you're a support who can do that. For Sven, it'll be a little tough, so maybe let's ignore that. Other things you could do, pulling the camp here, that would be great to take this tower, so I might kill off this sentry to give myself that option. Or if he's doing this, you could like maybe farm the small camp. Again, depending on what support you're playing, those are all good options. Let's see what you guys do, right? So Darksteer starts farming, and that's kind of okay. For our perspective, if we want things to happen faster, help him. Hit these, and again, let him get the last hit if you think he'll tilt out, right? But weaken them, you're helping him, you're bouncing damage, right? It's better to have two heroes at like 80% HP versus one hero at full health and one hero at 50% HP, right? Because if you go into a fight, they're just going to kill the guy with 50 HP, and then it's a 2v1, for example, if you're going into like 2v2. But if you're both at 80, then that's like much better. You both survive about the same time in theory, and you can do more. So like you could help him out. You could help this Primal Beast out. You could maybe go for the rune or for like stacking. I would also be open to those options. That's why this is like weird, right? Let's pretend you find someone. Like, what are you gonna do? You find PA, you find any of these heroes. What are you actually going to do right now? Because you're just a Sven support. You're level 4, right? So like, you're not actually gonna do anything. You're gonna stun, you're gonna hit. That's kind of it, right? Now if it's the PA, maybe it's okay. Maybe you chase them away from farming, and that's like, it's kind of okay. But she's honestly not farming that well right now anyways, with her like state of the game. So it would be better to like punish her team by taking control of the map, by like taking a tower, and then freeing up the primal beast to then come in here, and then you'll actually kill her if you find her, or whoever you find in here, right? You'll actually do something. Versus here, yeah, maybe you chase her away from farm, or maybe someone rotates in and kills you. So I think there's a very like low reward play coming in here. And like Darkseer kind of came in, but again, like, what if we actually found 2 heroes, right? This guy's half dead just to neutrals. So I don't love it. Now you do come for the mid rune, and actually I'm okay with that one. I think that's not too bad, but I'd actually prefer if you probably just took the top tower. You got a necro kill, so this isn't too bad either. Let's talk about what we do from here now, right? So this is the path we chose. We have no observers, no sentries, so we can't do any deep wards. I would have loved that. That would be my #1 pick. If I look at the minimap, Ursa's dead, so maybe that's why you're thinking about going bottom. Let's flip a coin, guys. When Ursa respawns, where do we think he'll go? Because this is Herald, I think he'll go right here. Even if Sven comes down here, I think there's a very high chance Ursa comes down here. Now, if Ursa's down here, it means this lane is dealt with. Like, if you're coming down here to absorb the space, I'm down for that. Like, if you see Ursa farming, jungling, whatever, maybe you guys are communicating in the game, maybe that's what's about to happen. I think, though, in a typical Herald game, Ursa's going to come down here, and that means you can't actually farm down here because Ursa's down here. So I think it'd be better for you to start running top, which is where I actually wanted you to be originally. You came for the mid rune. I'm not going to say this is wrong because I mean it like got you a kill. You were here for the like 10-minute rune and got a kill. So I'm like, I'm down for that. That's like an alternative. And I'd say also somewhat like fairly good thing to do. I'd prefer the tower, but like at least we had something in mind, it looks like, versus like I was worried when we were just running through the jungle. And in the future, I'd probably like safely run this way since you don't have any wards to place here anyways, which maybe you could have if you didn't use this one. But I think you're coming bottom. I think Ursa's going to TP down here. And then I think you're going to have to walk away. Oh, no, we're just going to die first. Right, so we tried to do something with, like, very little health. I think it would have been better to go top, even with that amount of health, because you'd be closer to teammates. By yourself with that little amount of health, it's kind of scary to just die to stuff. So here's good. We're taking the tower. This is good. We're like doing stuff with our team, right? This feels good as Sven support. I have a stun and I have a move speed. Guy who's strong, Primal Beast, let me enable you. And I die for it. Whatever, I don't care. Primal Beast got a kill and got out. That's good. Running into the jungle by myself, not gonna do much. Running with Primal Beast, gonna do something. Though maybe we didn't have to dive that far, you know, probably just take this tower. But let's see what you do. Okay, I see you TPing down here, but like, let's reevaluate again. Is Ursa calling for a kill down here? You know, I guess, but like, it's a tough one. Axe, Vanguard, Phase Boots, fairly healthy hero. Call for more armor. Not really a part of the map I want to be in. No, I don't love it. Mid, I'd be down for that. Help this guy who's getting dove, probably dead here. Which means you now get to get the XP in the lane. That'd be cool. Oh, maybe this tower's actually just dead. In that case, probably walking mid instead of TPing. I mean, maybe TP to try to help this guy, or just walking here because this is gonna push in and my Quap looks dead, or she has to go home, and that means that's gold for me, so that's looking good. Or top. You know, I just got a kill with this Primal Beast hero. Felt pretty good. Darkseer also got this Ion Shell, very strong right now. These guys feel very nice to play with. So, like, coming up here, 2 heroes where I can, like, stun and maybe get kills. 2 heroes which I can buff up with my, Warcry, all of that sounds good. I think support Sven actually just like maxes these 2 spells before going for something else. Even if you're trying to play greedy, I'd probably, instead of getting God Strength, I'd probably like pick up Great Cleave to like farm a little faster. All right, so we got Axe. Made it look a little easier than I thought it would, so not too bad. But now we just have to leave, right? So although we killed Axe, all it really did was like give a little bit of space to Ursa, who actually lost a good amount of health in that attempt. So like, you know, he's also kind of at risk of someone respawning or TPing and running down here. So like after that kill, all you ended up doing was walking up here anyways. So like what if we had just came here or came top and got kills up there? Then we could immediately do something, right? Like the towers, like it would just be overall better. And you'd be able to like farm, right? Steal enemy farm feels good. Take farm from Ursa feels bad. So even though you got that kill bottom, I actually don't love that attempt. This mid pushing, I like this. This is good, right? Empty lane, things are happening. No, keep farming. Go back, go back. Look at all this. This could be yours. If you're scared to farm under the tower, just do a little creep aggro trick. If someone is showing on the map, attack them, snap back to your hero, walk backwards. Pull the creeps away, you get to farm them. Or if you're still scared, just like stand back here and get the XP. This is like stuff we want to do, stuff to be greedy as a support to get levels and be more impactful. And then like come back top once you're needed and someone has come back mid. I think you should buy a smoke just to have. I don't know if people will play with you, but like smoke, observer, sentries, you are the position 5, right? A smoke with these two into the jungle would feel pretty decent right now. I see 2 heroes down here, so that'd be nice, but now you just kind of have to like walk in here. Yeah, that feels nice. 3 heroes, we all did stuff together, and then we all walked away from the part of the map we controlled. So let's talk about greedy opportunities again. Things are looking dire. Moved in here, killed her. We do need someone to get this. How many heroes does it take to push back an empty lane? Probably just 1. Is it dangerous for the other 2 heroes to stay? It doesn't look too dangerous because I see several heroes down here. And I can kind of look around this area and see there's not another hero. So that leaves 2 heroes on our team free to farm things from the enemy. So this is several hundred gold just sitting here that you're going to now walk away from and let the enemy take whenever they'd like. And now you come here to like, oh, I'll cut the lane faster, right? This is more dangerous than the jungle. Now they know where you are, and if you try to run away, these creeps will follow you, and they give vision to the enemy team. Here, they don't see you because neutral creeps don't give vision, and they don't know you're there farming. So I do think for the idea of being greedy, I'd probably switch God Strength with 1 point in Great Cleave. If I was playing in Herald, that's what I would do, and still do like the QE build, but just like 1 point in Cleave would allow me to farm a lot better. So we had the opportunity to essentially swing the gold. If everyone just farms their half of the map, 50-50 split, right? So I steal camps from the jungle. That gives me gold and takes away gold from the enemy. That's a big swing. So we had that chance and we just walked away from it. And we just like ran back to our own side to farm. And you are like, damn, you were like really going all the way back. Okay, so yeah, kind of like unnecessary to do this. We're like kind of like wasting a bit of time. And I'm being a little harsh. I know it's Herald, so like there's naturally going to be some inefficiencies. But I do want to highlight every time you leave the base, you pretty much TP. That leaves you very little room to ever like rotate around to like help your team with different things if you always TP out. So you want to try to stop doing that. Find times to just walk out. I mean, this time we're talking about like we saw the Primal Beast there, 3 people on him. So I kind of understand. You probably have this gut feeling like, oh, I should go help. And that's okay. The longer you play, I can look at that guy and know I will never help him. He will die before I show up. Even if I want to help him, he will die before I get there, before I even complete the TP. So I simply won't. I will walk. I'm not blaming you for not recognizing that, right? That's like a matter of experience and playing the game a lot. But that's stuff you want to look for and really question, like, I always just gut TP to help teammates. But, like, eventually you want to start putting in some discretion there and, like, that guy's dead. I don't need to help him. And I'm going to go walk somewhere, and that's going to leave me an opportunity to rotate some other time. Okay, the way they're playing is kind of suspicious, so I think they have a ward here. And you guys just kind of went for it. Again, that's just, like, a matter of experience thing, I think, to recognize when, like, people are doing sus stuff. So I understand the desire to be like aggressive, I'm not gonna blame you for that one though. I kind of know that just from like playing a lot, like understanding what people will do if they see me. I think that's probably a level of experience. Damn! Damn! Look at that combo. Nice. That's a feels good moment for the team. Yeah, keep going, keep going. Get this guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo. Okay, how do we capitalize on this? That was a pretty good fight. Really good, okay? If we don't do anything, though, it doesn't matter as much. So, 4 people are dead. First, you want to buy a couple of more of these. As a position 5, you generally want to have some. A lot of this time, I see you walking around, and you don't have them. Okay, it's not like buy one when I have a very specific purpose for it. You want to like hold a couple wards and sentries, like maybe 1 observer, up to 2, up to 3, 4. If you've seen me do it sometimes, you're not supposed to get to 4. Like 2 is a good total number to like keep in reserve, and then like 1.5 to 2.5 times the amount of sentries that you have observers. So if you had 1 observer, I'd carry like 2 sentries. If you have 2 observers, I'd probably carry like 4 sentries, something like that, right? A certain amount of money should always go to those things as the position 5, and I would probably continue to do that in Herald, though I'd probably cut back the sentries a little bit, just because I don't think the vision games is important in Herald, but I would still buy at least an equal amount of sentries and observers, if not a little bit more. For moments like this, because you don't know when you'll get opportunities to ward, so you simply must have them, and then when the opportunity shows up, you get to use them. If you always use them instantly the second you buy them, doing things like this, then finally you win a fight, we can go ward here. I don't have any. By the time an observer and a sentry gets to me from the courier, they're all up, opportunity gone, so it's important to hold on to them. And for example, I'm suspicious of this spot from that earlier fight. This would be a great time to do that for you. Let's see what the team does. This lane should be pushed out. Looks like your team is doing that, so it's fine for you to walk away. The mid lane does look good. I would walk there if no one on your team's doing it. You also have Ion Shell on you and full mana and Tranquil Boots, so I'd be okay if you just farmed a jungle camp while no one was here, but I actually think this is number 1. So since no one came here, you should just directly bolt here. If someone else came here and like TP'd or just walked, then you could do the jungle thing with the Ion Shell. You do want to grab these, so like, where are we going? You know, you can buy like 3 sentries here with that amount of money, you know? We just kind of like walked away from it. I'm not gonna like flame missing last hits, but we don't want to walk away from like attempts at last hits. Okay, don't want to do this. No ults. Big ults, still down. Wait for that. We chillin'. Maybe with Primal Beast go for pickoff, but no big team fights because we're missing ults. So we're looking for greedy stuff. I'm looking at top. It's pushing into the enemy. For me, what that means is I can farm this stuff relatively safely, and when the enemy pushes it back, I can already be in position to possibly farm it. I'm also okay if you play with your team right now. In Herald, I don't know what's going to happen, but if they're doing stuff, let's go with them. That's also cool. I don't really need to be bottom because Ursa's there, and mid is kind of covered by Queen of Pain. So unless we're going to like actively do stuff, I don't really need to go to either of those locations. If someone else is top, then it's okay for you to jungle if you can't get anyone else to do things with you. And as much as possible, pick the enemy side of the map to do that jungling. All right, repeat. We just wiped them. What should we do? There's a PA left. That is a little scary. I'm pretty low health, but I got tranquils. So if you have any idea where PA is, you're good to go. If you knew for a fact that PA was up here, this entire part of the map should be yours. And because no hero is alive besides the PA who you know is top, you should not walk home right now. If I see you walk home right now, it'll be very sad. You should not do that. Tranquil Boots will heal you. You should spend this time warding, and then probably go jungle something. And this is where that 1 point in Great Cleave, I think, would really help. So let's see what you do. I think you're going to walk home. Yeah. So this could be an extra 200 gold for you right now. If you were to just jungle in this time, do the warding right now, and then go jungle, you would just have done a lot more for your team. The warding alone, if you just warded and then came back home, which would be probably a lot more normal for supports, that would be incredible. And then the jungling's more of a like Herald thing. But also, you know, high level supporting also involves finding farm, you know, and I think that would be a decent time to do it. Kind of got something after the fact. I don't know if that was really due to like, yeah, it's too awkward, run around. Ah. Oh, you got it. Okay, nice. Okay, but okay, let's talk about your warding. I've seen you do this before in your past games as well. You just saw that they had an observer and sentry here. That means in Herald, people ward by habit. It's kind of what you're doing as well, right? So I want to call this out so you can learn to break the habit. People know, maybe they don't, but eventually people learn good spots and they just keep using them. They don't think about why they need to use them and they don't adapt. So I'd bet a good amount of money that Shadow Shaman or whoever warded this will later come back, not even thinking you have an observer, but because they lost this vision, they're like, it must have been gotten, you know, so they will come and put a sentry and they will come and put another observer. So you're going to lose your observer, not because they knew, not because they mind gamed where you put it. They're simply checking the exact same spot that they did. And you know this because you found something here before. So I wouldn't use this spot. I would adapt and put it somewhere here. I'd adapt and put it somewhere here, right? We're going to adjust away from these spots where I have seen people historically use. You should always try to do that in Herald. Like, I think people are really bad at adapting wards. I see it all the time. I'm seeing it here, right? No offense. But, like, that's what we're seeing. So if you guys can learn to adapt your wards, once you find a sentry, an enemy sentry or an observer in a certain spot, try not to put your observers there unless you have very good reason to do so, right? So now you've put and found this one. First of all, sentry, put it on the low ground because you already have an observer on the high ground. So your sentry should go like somewhere here in case they had wards over here and not just on the cliff. This sentry that you've put and my sentry down here, mine is just simply better because you already had high ground vision. If you don't have high ground vision, then the sentry on here is totally fine. This is kind of what I'm talking about adapting, right? Is that even though you had the observer, you didn't think to adapt and put your sentry lower, you still put it on here. So this is the stuff I want you to think about with warding. How to adapt and why we're warding in certain spots, not just putting them in like, I know cliffs are good. I know Zach has put wards here before. I know I've seen like Dubu do like whatever this kind of ward, you know, stuff like that. And then simply using those wards without thinking about like, why do I want that vision, right? I'm glad you guys are using good warding spots, and that's definitely step one. But like the next step is like, why am I putting it here? Like, what do I want out of this? And if you can't answer that, maybe you don't actually need that ward. And if you're not sure, that's okay. That's all about learning the game. But you want to ask yourself these questions so that you're not just warding in like random spots. Like, what is this? What is this doing for me? What is the idea of this observer? Right? Pause and think about this, guys. Tell me why this observer is no good. There's a couple reasons I can tell you right off the bat. Now, there's a couple reasons it is good, but like also a couple reasons why it's not good. So I'm just going to keep going into it. First of all, you have this one alive right now. It is close to dying, but for now it's alive. That means you have a lot of vision in your own jungle. But how defensive do you want to be? Because it's 24-12. Your team is strong right now. So how often do I want to play in my own part of the map here? And why do I need to see both this cliff and this cliff? Let's imagine the enemy axe. We're avoiding him because he's ganking, right? We see him walk into here. And we go, there's the axe. So I was here farming, right? And I see the axe run in. And I go, I start walking away. And then axe gets to this point. And he's out of the vision of this cliff, right? Do I suddenly go, he's gone. I can return to this camp now, right? I know he's here. I saw him walk in through there. So I don't need to see him again right now, right here. If you're just using like a defensive ward as like vision to avoid this kind of stuff and know this, right? I don't need to see his entire path through the jungle. As soon as I know he's entering the jungle, that's kind of enough. Now, if I think they're going to be playing in the jungle a lot, that's when this kind of ward becomes better. Not strictly this one, but like a deeper jungle ward in our own ward or our own jungle is because I think the enemy's going to spend a lot of time here. And that means they're actually beyond this vision, right? Because this only sees up to here. So I would kind of see them farming this stuff, but like I wouldn't see them like setting up back here. And if I think they're going to play very aggressive, that's what I would want to see to know when they're camping there or when they're not and they're rotating somewhere else. So that's when I would put a deeper ward, whether it's this spot or like some spot like in the corner there or like back here, you know, another topic. But that's why I would use this one versus this one. But you're the aggressive team. You're doing well. So let's put one here as a forewarning for when they come in here for our carry who's going to spend time jungling here to avoid, hopefully, the enemy. But I don't need this one. So I will save this one. I will keep it in my inventory for the next time we team wipe them. I will eventually walk into their jungle and put an observer because I have it ready to go, and I don't need this one when I have this one. Now, in this case, this ward's actually about dying, so I'm okay with you putting another ward down here. But again, I don't really think it needs to be this deep. I'd probably put it further out. I'd probably put it further out here, or like over here, or like try at the edge of the enemy's camp. That would be good too. This sneaky spot here, maybe up here. This is getting a little further north. It's a little bit different from this general area. This is just very common, right? Because we found something here, going back to that original point. I found the enemy's observer there. I promise you he's gonna come back, okay? So, enough about warding. I think I've ruined the replay sound because I paused so long. That's okay. I think we're probably close to wrapping up. Okay, killed Ursa. Unfortunate. Let's see if the guy wards. Okay, we're coming back here. Why are we coming back here? Are you going to stop these guys on your own as the position 5 Sven? No, it's Greedon time, okay? So when you see the enemy make a big movement like this, don't engage them. Unless your team is like trying to engage him, but like look at your team. Okay, Quap's kind of in the right spot. But unless these two are prepared to TP, right? And also, why would we TP when they're over here? It's going to take them some time to walk over, so they don't really need to TP right now. So you don't really need to rush in right now. You, if mid was not pushed in right now like this, should push in mid. You should rush top with your team. You know, if they're all coming down here, guess what? We can all rush top, and we all have teleports, so if we want to defend, we can still come back and do it. And if we don't want to defend, we're already in a position to take their tower as well and to take their jungle farm, because guess what? That's what they're going to be doing to us, because we died down here, and we don't want to engage this unless you really do. But you're the team that's stronger, so engaging on your own half of the map doesn't feel as good when you could do stuff up here, and you see them like spending a lot of time down here, because, you know, funny enough, you do have this ward, right? I was shit talking it, but like, you have this ward, so if you see 4 people chilling down here forever, guess what? You get to do the same up here, and you have Roshan if your team can like organize to do that. So I'd much prefer you go mid or top, which kind of seems like you've changed your mind and now you're headed to. So maybe I was critiquing too fast. I think that's the right call. I don't think you were quite needed for this yet. And then I don't think you actually want to walk out, right? So they were down here. What does that mean they did? They established control here, in theory, which actually... Wait, who did it? Go do it. Look, I checked these cliffs before, I check them again, boop, boop, boop. You know, fortunately your observer actually died before he got to it, but he was checking for the spot, okay? Didn't actually check the last cliff though. Oh, I kind of skipped ahead, okay. Why don't I want to do this? This is a huge deal, what you're doing right here. This, even though I'm saying you don't have to do it, it's fine. You're defending the tower, it's fine. Why can't you move further out? It's because of what we just saw from Earthshaker's position. They killed the guy, they took control of this area, and they set up. And you don't have vision. I don't know where they are. I know they have blinks. If this is warded and I move out, why can't they just kill me? Where could they jump me from? Fog of War. Are they there? I don't know. So I have to assume they're there until they show me otherwise. So you can't just like walk out here or like walk in here, or like, oh, I better go check this cliff. They could still be here. So we have to ask ourselves, if there is wards on this cliff and there are enemies here, can I get that cliff? The answer is no. So don't even try, because you will die like this. And if they're not here and they do have an observer, you'll still wait. You'll still see them show somewhere else, and then you can go get this later. But if you try to go when the last place we saw them was down here, you will simply die. And that's not going to help our grand plan of being a greedy support and getting gold. You even saw the axe and you still came up here. Yeah, if your team wasn't like fairly ahead, like this is actually a really bad fight for your team to take. But your team's pretty ahead and you've got like good AoE wombo combo heroes and they kind of lined up for it. So it worked out. But like tactically, that fight's not good for your team, and it's kind of baited by you. Also, let me just show you something else. This is the same thing you're trying to do, but we can watch from your teammates' perspectives. Everyone look at the minimap right now. 4 heroes, once again dead. What did I tell you about map control? All of this is ours. The one hero who is alive, PA, you maybe don't even have to respect her, right? It depends on your team, the heroes, how strong they are. PA's up here. So even if you're scared of PA, everything else should be yours. So now, with that in mind, watch what the Radiant does. Who is actually moving out of their own half of the map? With 4 heroes dead, they're still on their own half of the map, only getting their own resources. After that kind of team wipe, one hero should push out the lane where that fight took place, and every other hero should be trying to push into the enemy's part of the map, unless there's a very specific reason they can't, which there was not. So here we are again, right? So you check this cliff, that guy checks this cliff, and you're like, oh, I gotta check this cliff again. So these kind of wards are just like always going to die a lot in Herald. So I really recommend, like, once the enemy shows they have checked a spot, don't go there again. You can put sentries to check, but like don't put your own observers. Put the observer somewhere else. Like next level, put the observer. Look, before we could even go anywhere else, he came back. And I bet if he had an observer, he would have put it there as well. So like you could do this and then just put your observer here. Huge. That observer would not die. It would last the full 6 minutes, I promise you. In this rank, I promise you, your observer right here will never die. If I see them putting this, put it right here. Like, they're not going to check it. Unless they've shown a history of putting their sentry here. Then guess what? I'm going to put my observer over here. I'm going to adapt to what I see and keep my observers alive. So from here, I mean, it kind of looks like you guys are winning. I think we've already covered lots of good stuff. This kind of thing, we're pushing in. I want vision. It's fine. Put your sentry, put your observer. I'm cool with it. In the future, after they check this again, I'm not going to use it again unless I have a very specific reason, because you already found stuff up here. It tells me there's a history of the enemy using this spot, and they know I use this spot, so there's a very, very high chance that they're going to use this spot again. So I will put another sentry here in the future, but my observers are going out here. They're going over here. They're going over here, right? And those are not going to die most likely. So I think that's plenty for you to work on. We talked about the laning, we talked about observers and warding in general, and then we hopefully highlighted a couple instances of where you can get farm, right? After team wipes, pushing out for stuff, some of your movements that are kind of like superfluous and not really accomplishing much, toning some of those down. Yeah, I think those are all like great places to begin, and you only have to you don't have to perfect any of this, right? You're already really close to Guardian. You're already at Herald 5. I know you went up before and dropped, but I think you can push back in easily. Just curb some of these poorer habits, and it'll help you out a lot, I think. You do want to be a slightly greedy mindset as a support. Still accomplish all the support stuff. Have those observer, sentry, smoke, stuff like that. The dust detections. But look for a bit more farm, because that's what Herald and Guardian is. It's going to involve you being a little stronger individually. That's why I think Sven is a cool hero for this. Even though he's a unnormal support, he just has that scaling potential. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.